Here's Papa.
Hello, 45 Alpha Charlie Papa channel, and today we're going to do a top 5 video. I haven't done one of those in a while, and today we're going to take a look at my top 5 Eastern Bloc Cold War handguns. I know that's a mouthful, but these are all handguns that were carried by Eastern Bloc countries or countries under Russian influence during the Cold War. I thought it'd be a fun little top 5. If you've got some that you know of down below, maybe they don't make this list, or do you want to do your own top 5? Comment down below. Do your own top 5. But these are the 5 that I have, that I actually own. These are the 5 that I have made decisions on purchasing, and these are 5 that I actually got some pretty decent deals on. So without further ado, let's get to number 5. At number 5, we've got the Polish P64. Very handsome, beautiful looking gun. Very Walther PPK-ish. It shoots the 9mm Makarov. I would call this gun in the Makarov family, but it is not a true Makarov. Some of the operating characteristics in takedown are Makarov, but Poland decided they'd go out on their own and create a Walter PPK copy, basically. Very fun handgun to shoot, but it is a little painful. You don't have a whole lot here. It's nice and thin. The 9mm Makarov round is a blowback, and blowback cartridges or blowback guns tend to be a little bit more punishing to the shooter. You're taking all of that sting and instant impact of the fired round, unlike a traditional breech lock where you've got a locking mechanism and a delayed lock mechanism. You take the full brunt of the 9mm Makarov cartridge when you shoot these, and this being kind of small in the grip, it's a little stingy to shoot. It's fun to shoot, but not as pleasurable as some of the other ones on this list. Great fit and finish, really nice looking. You've got a double action. This is a double action, single action firearm. You've got the heel release. That's one of the things I don't like about it. That heel release is buried, but you do have a heel release. You've got a 6-round magazine, plus 1 in the chamber. You've got a safety. Now, typically, this is a safety and decocker. The decocking function does not work on this particular pistol. But up is fire, down is safe. So, as a concealed carry, I wouldn't necessarily carry one of these. The safety part of it is a little funky on how to release it. And you do have a double action, but that double action, OEM double action on these is about 20 pounds. This does have a set of wool springs in it that brings it down to probably closer to 15. Another problem I have with this gun, if you notice here, let's go ahead and open it. We have some sculpted corners here on the back of the slide. That is because if you really grip up on this, she's going to bite you. So if you're pulling it out of a holster to shoot it real quick and you grab it too high, you are going to get bit. And these little rounded corner edges here help push your skin out of the way, so she just kind of nibbles on you instead of taking a chunk out of your hand. Now, there are upgrades to this. I'm going to take this out. There is no slide release. You've got to have either ammo in it or take the magazine out, slide it home. Single action on this is pretty decent, so once you get past that double action trigger pull, it is pretty nice. Takes down like just about every other Makarov. There is an aftermarket guy out there who makes grips for these that has a little bit more of a beaver tail to help prevent that bite. He also has an extension for the magazine release to make it release a little easier. But at number 5, we've got the Polish P64. At number 4 on our list, we have got this is a Bulgarian Makarov. This is an actual Makarov. It's a Makarov copy of the Russian Makarov. You've also got East German Makarovs out there, probably the most common you're going to find out there is the Bulgarian variant. This is a Circle 10. I don't think you can really see that very well on here, but it is a Circle 10 firearm. That means it's a Bulgarian Makarov. This one has had a few modifications to it. This is the way I got it. Somebody painted the red grips to a olive drab green, although swapping the grips out on this wouldn't be any big deal. You still have a heel release down here. It is sticking out proud, so it's a little easier to get to. Now, Fab Defense does make a grip for these that gives you a little bit more beaver tail on it, and it moves this heel release to the side of the grips. So you've got a magazine release up here. It basically has a transfer bar that comes down here and activates the heel release on it. So, there are some aftermarket parts available for these. I believe these are 7 rounds, 7 plus 1. So you got 8 round capacity. This one also has an aftermarket stainless steel barrel on it that is cut for being compensated or ported. So a little less snappy. This is actually a very pleasurable gun to shoot. You got your safety here on the side. Down is safe. Up is fire. You do have double. Maybe down is fire. Down is fire. Up is safe. I'm sorry. You do have double action on these. The double action on these is heavy, but nowhere near the P64. They are very manageable, and you've got a nice single action pull also. You can usually find these. I picked this one up for a couple $100. Typically, you're going to pay anywhere from $250 to $350 on something like these. These are getting a little shorter supply, so if you find them, you'll go ahead and pick them up. It shoots the 9mm Makarov cartridge. But again, at number 4, the Bulgarian Makarov. I really enjoy this particular pistol. Coming in at number 3, we have got the mighty Tokarov, the Russian Tokarov, although several Eastern Bloc countries made these. They are still making these today over there. Zastava, I believe, is the plant that still makes these. They still import these to this day. You can get new ones. You can find a lot of Cold War relics out there too. This one more than likely came from Vietnam or Korea. This is probably a veteran bringback. The original one does not have the safety, but in order for them to import into the United States, they've got to put a safety on them. So this was more than likely a veteran bringback. It is pretty beat up. This is the original Russian one. Wartime production. It's got like a 1938 Slade or 38 frame, 1941 slide. Like I said, this probably came out of Asia. They were just buying up whatever they could find. So it was probably just kind of mismatched. You can see some etching on here. It's had quite a hard life. It would probably be a little higher on this list, except for the one I have is fairly rough. This is a sporter. This was made for the sports market. This is a Chinese 9mm Tokarov. So this is one of the Norenkos made for the sporting market. This one was actually used during World War II and followed through the Cold War. Fires the 7.62 by 25 cartridge, a screaming little cartridge. One of the problems you have with the 7.62 by 25 is availability. It used to be you could find 7.62 by 25 in surplus everywhere, but that is no longer being imported to the United States. Even if they could import it, somebody made a couple of rifles that chambered the 7.62 by 25, and when they chambered them in rifles and they put them sold them in the United States as rifles, this became a rifle round. It becomes quote unquote armor piercing, at least the surplus does. So they no longer import the surplus ammo for these. In order to shoot this, you either need to reload or spend the $30 a box for the Stella and below. But at number 3, we've got the venerable Tokarov. It is a wonderful weapon, very John Browning design. When you open it up, feels good in the hand, points naturally, just an overall really good firearm. At number 2, we've got the Polish P83. Now the 83s are a little harder to come by. This one I spent $200 for, but you're probably going to spend $250 to $350 on one of these. This day and age, prices may even be a little higher than that. Fires the 9mm Makarov. You've got, I believe, a 7-round magazine here, 7+1. So you've got a couple more rounds in this than you did the P64, which this replaced. A very interesting firearm, pleasure to shoot, easy on the hand. It's not as snappy as some of the other 9mm Makarovs. It's got a nice wide grip here. You've got a good beaver tail here, so you're not going to get bit like you did with the P64. You've got a much easier to grab hammer spur, so it's a lot easier to cock it and ready to rock. It does have a double action, much better double action than the P64. This is probably in that 12 to 15 pound range. It's very smooth. Single action, once you get past the double, is nice and crisp too. A very interesting firearm. This was developed in the late 70s, early 80s. It was kind of an interesting time development wise for firearms, because they were trying to figure out ways to make things less expensive, hence the polymer guns that started to come out and the Glocks that came out in the early 80s. Polymer actually took over. Poland looked at polymer, but they went this route, and this is a completely stamped sheet metal firearm. The only parts that are milled, or MIM parts anyway, are like your trigger and your hammer. Your front bushing here is the slide is actually a piece of sheet metal that's curved. You've got a trunnion back here in the back, but it is a stamped steel firearm. So I usually call this the AK of handguns. Very AK thought process into making this. You've got a little bit of anti-glare up here. Very neat handgun. Feels good in the hand. It's a fun little shooting handgun if you can pick one of these up. The only drawback, magazines for these are relatively expensive. They don't take the standard Makarov magazine. They are proprietary to the P83. So here you have it, the Polish P83. There's not a whole lot of them been imported to the country. They've been kind of dribbling in here and there. J&G sales sometimes has some. I picked this up at a local gun store, like I said, for a couple $100. I was really happy with the purchase. But that is the Polish P83. And finally, at number 1 of Cold War weaponry of the Eastern Bloc is the CZ82, or I believe they call it the VZ82. But we all know it here as the CZ82. It is made by CZ. The ultimate in a 9mm Makarov. Of all the Makarovs out there, this is, I believe, to be the top of the heap. You've got release. It is double and single action. Hammer fired. You've got a really nice dovetail here. Beauty on this, ambidextrous. So you've got a magazine release on either side here. 12-round magazine, double stack, which all the other ones that I've talked to on here are all single stack. So it's actually a 12-round double stack magazine. Ambidextrous safety. So once he's cocked, real easy to flip on and off. And if you are lefty, you can manipulate it with your left hand also. Wonderful gun to shoot. As with most of these, this one is a chrome line barrel. However, this one has got polygonal rifling in it. So when you look down the barrel, it doesn't look like it's got any rifling in it, but it does. It's chrome lined, very accurate, very fun to shoot. So if you want to carry this in double action, it's the only drawback to this particular gun. Drop that. You crack your round in, your hammer is cocked. If you want to carry it in double action, the only way to decock this pistol is to grab the hammer and pull the trigger with a round in the chamber. That is probably the only thing about this pistol I don't like. I would rather them have some kind of decocker on it, but you can get around that. You just have to be very, very careful. Now you're ready to go. One's in the chamber. You are on double action. So you can carry this in double action with one in the chamber. Carry it in single action on safe, ready to go. So you've got a couple different carry options with this firearm. Points natural, feels really good in the hand, fills the hand, very, very smooth. The other negative on these firearms, and you can kind of see here when they put the import mark in here, they chipped all the paint. It's got more of a painted finish on it. You can see here, this one's not too bad. It's got some wear, it's got some chips, but some of these that come in have a lot of paint missing on the slide and on the frame, because it was more of a Duracoat type of a finish, one of the early ones, and it didn't hold up as well as others do. So there it is, the CZ82. So there you go, my top 5 Cold War pistols from the Eastern Bloc. This is 45 Alpha Charlie Papa Channel, and hey, if you've got a few that you wanted to comment down below, add them to the list. I'd be more than happy to hear what you have to say on this. These are just the ones that I have been able to pick up over the years. So, like, subscribe, do what you're going to do. I'm out.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.